I mean, I didn't do any notes.
No.
No notes.
Some things never change.
Yeah, there's no point.
If my notes slip, then Dolan creeps into this chair, doesn't he?
I just had a little thing in my head I was going to say, but I was going to do a little partridge.
Mum would be like, why have you bought this? When I was young, I'd be like, Mum, I like Bovril, let me live. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing at incognito muggings.
No.
Because they're not funny, but I do find it very amusing that they decided to leave your clothes. They've got a good-looking team, Dolan. I'd describe them all as housewives' favourites. Chester's got the body of an Adonis.
Oh, hello, Marlon.
I said to Anne, should we leave this up on the fridge permanently? And she was like, no. But it's still there. Big Marlon's still on the fridge. My mum was like, oh, that's a lovely voice. Who is that talking? And my dad was like, oh, it's Chris Dolan. And she took one look at the screen and went, I do not like his hair.
What? So it's season 2, and we're back.
We've already done the intro, Tom. I don't know why you're doing it. I don't know why you're feeling the need to do it again. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast. Don't know why I'm shouting. With myself, Dan Bardell, and Chrissy Dolan on my right. Christoph Dolan, as I signed you in as. I don't know whether you noticed.
Oh, I didn't see that, no.
Just a little prank there.
No.
Prank Sinatra.
Didn't see that.
No? Okay. Yeah, you notice Tom is absent this week. I think he's in Switzerland doing something with work. So we've drafted in the man who let us down last time.
I know, I'm sorry.
He didn't let me down. I wasn't here, so it was more Tom. Do you want to
know what happens?
Well, we've been slagging you up. Well, actually, I've given you a bit of a wide berth. I've not slagged you off too much, but Tom, I feel like he's carried it around with him.
What happened was, it was the Paul Smith staff party. And I hadn't actually had that much to drink. I kind of kept it pretty civilised.
Yeah.
And then my wife and her best mate were at the Mariah Carey Sings Christmas.
Which is already a terrible story.
At the O2. And then, so they were at that. They were obviously pretty merry. I came home and they were up drinking gin and tonics, listening to Mariah Carey.
And that you fancied a bit of Mariah. I'd have you down as Mariah Carey,
I'll have
man.
some of that. So 4 in the morning, 6 or 7 gin and tonics later, as well as all the other stuff like that.
Oh, so I thought you were actually ill.
No, I was just really over.
That was a lie in the group. You said you'd not been feeling well anyway.
I hadn't been feeling that well. To be fair, I was sick all over Christmas.
Okay.
So, you know, I got me comeuppance.
Sick of Villa as well, I imagine.
Yeah.
You've got your little phrase going on Twitter at the moment. Every game, I'd take a draw.
It started at Derby whenever I said I'd take a draw. And then,
so you've done it as a superstitious kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little bit strangely superstitious. Have you got any superstitions?
Not really. I used to wear the same. If Villa won, I used to wear the same shirt and try and wear the same clothes to the next game. But to be honest, I think we had that season where we barely ever won, so I just knocked that on the head. I was running out of clothes.
Well, yeah.
You good though?
I'm all right. Yeah.
Happy to be back.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I haven't seen you since we were saying this before, like what, end of November? Maybe was the last time I was on here.
I can't remember. I mean, I've said to you off camera already. You're far more demanding than Tom when you're doing a podcast. I mean, obviously I can't show you the messages now, but Chris Dolan wants to know everything before he does the podcast. He wants to know
what's
on the notes.
I like things organised.
He wants me to have a cup ready for him usually. He just wants to know everything, Chris Dolan, whereas I just let Tom get on with it when he's the one with the notes.
I just like things to be right.
I don't get to see the notes when Tom prepares them, so I
can glance.
I don't see why you should get to see them when I prepare them. But anyway, that's all by the by. You're glad to be back in the podcast booth?
Yeah, it's really good. It's good to be back.
People want to see you quite a lot. I find it a bit strange. But
it seems like they do.
Yeah.
Which is very humbling.
I must say, Jack Luckhurst is the most desperate person to get 3 people in the booth on Twitter.
He loves it, doesn't he? He's a good lad. Yeah, no, he seems like a good lad, and he's Irish as well. Yeah. So.
I mean, you'll have seen with the Johnny Gold, the Villa View video with Johnny Gold.
Well, I was going to say...
Tough conditions.
I was going to say, if we can get 3 in, then why can't I do it with the 3 of us? But then turns out Tom was literally crouching down.
I mean, that video's not a good advert for the Villa View, really, because if anyone who hasn't watched it, pretty much all you can see is Tom's
pink pants. Did you just literally bump into Johnny in the hallway?
Yeah, I've seen him quite a lot. I see Johnny quite a lot, because obviously he's doing Sky News.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. We just bumped into him on the way for the booth, said, do you want to come in and talk about the Villa Trust? And he did, so early plug, if you've not watched the video with Johnny Gold talking to us about the Villa Trust and Tom wearing his pink pants, then make sure...
It was very tight shirt as well.
Yeah, I mean, a ridiculous purchase, but since been rectified.
No.
Since we won't talk about tie shirts, darling.
T-shirt, lucky you can't see down. My Christmas belly.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from your Christmas belly. 4 minutes 32. Let's talk about Villa. Where do you want to start?
Well, do we start with good news or the bad news?
Let's get the bad news out of the way. Let's talk about the Swansea game. I was sick at the weekend, so I was supposed to be going. I had my bag all packed, ready to go to Birmingham, and I woke up in the morning and did a Dolan. I just felt horrendous, but not through alcohol. And I just couldn't go. I couldn't face the drive. I just thought Andrew wasn't going to be with me. I just thought, I feel horrific. It's not worth it. It'll be a reserve team. And to be honest, I disrespected the FA Cup. I just thought it's not worth it, and as it happens, I made the correct call.
I mean, it's funny, like, you know, you ask any fan, and I've said it before here last year, whenever we got dumped out by Peterborough.
Yeah.
You know, one of the greatest moments I've ever had would have been, and I'd say 99.9% of the fans who weren't in at the 82 Cup final would say the same, that the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool was one of the best days out I've ever had, especially as a Villa fan.
It was probably
my favourite game. And that run in the cup just really brought us together at that time of the season. I thought it all was. I mean, it was back-to-back games against West Brom, and it kind of galvanised everyone. And I mean, the atmosphere in the quarters against West Brom was frightening. And you know, it's a shame. You know, we weren't going to win the cup. We weren't going to get that far, particularly, but. It was just the manner. It was the manner of the defeat. It was the level of the performance. It was flat. It was disorganised. It was lethargic. I mean, the defence were just all over the place. The keeper didn't cover himself in glory at all. I think all 3 goals, from his point of view, could have been prevented.
I mean, let's not talk about everything in this little synopsis, because you're going to ruin my notes, Dolan. You've got a few points down, but you know, I think you've said a lot of stuff I've got down here.
You can kind of report on from what I just said. I think, you know, I think it was just so flat. It was as Smith said, it was the first time he's ever seen a performance where he's had to really question it and go, oh.
I mean, at least he's honest.
That wasn't good enough.
I mean, I thought the game before was quite flat. QPR in all honesty. Obviously, I was at that one. The atmosphere just never got going. I mean, it was a decent crowd. There on Saturday, by all accounts. Although my dad said that, or maybe it wasn't my dad. Someone said to me, I think it was Rollo actually. Although he said there was 36,000 there, a lot of season ticket holders can't have turned up. Obviously, I was one of those. Although someone did have my seat. So I think it's difficult to get excited about the FA Cup. Me personally, like you say, I look back at that time, and it was a brilliant time. Great. I mean, at the time we weren't doing very well either. So, like you say, it galvanised us and got the season going. Actually, that cup run when Tim Sherwood came in. I mean, we limped through the ties before under Lambert against inferior opposition. Yeah, if I recall. But in the Championship, I can't get excited about the FA Cup. I agree with you. What you're saying is it's not the fact that we've gone out; it's the manner in which we've gone out. Because I'm not too upset, because as you say, we are not going to win the FA Cup. No. I can't see any way in which we win the FA Cup. And you saw with the League Cup last season, Bristol were flying. And they were flying in the league, and they were doing well in the League Cup. They lost that semi-final. They got hammered by us 5-0, and they just never recovered. So at this point in Aston Villa's life, I don't think it's a good thing for us to be in the Cup. Although it would have been good to win a game in some respects.
Of course. I mean, I hate saying this, but if you'd offer me a win on Saturday, or a win this Saturday, I'm going to take Wigan all day long.
And you know what? That's what happened to Steve Bruce last year. He threw the Peterborough game, basically. And then we went to Forest and won 1-0. So he justified his decision. Yeah. If we now don't go to Wigan and win at the weekend, you look a bit silly. Yeah. That's just the way it is. Like Martin O'Neill, you change the team for Moscow on the basis that you're pushing for the Champions League. You then go on and not win for 11 games or something stupid or whatever it is, and then end up out of the Europa League, and you've not qualified for the Champions League. So again, you make yourself
it's the risk.
Silly.
Yeah, totally.
But I wasn't upset that we went out, as I say, because I don't think it should be a priority. But we've got to be doing better. The defence is all over the place.
Shocking. I mean, for the first goal, it was a catalogue of errors. I mean, decent punch from the keeper, but I think Hogan should have just cleared it or got rid of it quicker.
I agree.
And then Elphick just stood off his man, just let the ball come into the box, just like literally just backed off. I don't know. I still don't know what happened with the keeper. I still don't know how that went in. I don't know if it was his fault or if the Swansea player kind of, you know, made it happen. It's kind of, you look back at it,
he didn't gather it.
No.
Personally, I think it's a bit of a harsh one on the goal. A little bit of a harsh one on the goalkeeper.
The first one's a bit harsh, but
he perhaps should be doing better.
Awful. His position was awful. I'm not going to slate him.
No.
I'm not going to slate him. Like, you know, we all know that I've had a few words to say about Nyland, but you look at, I mean, especially their third goal, you look at his positioning, he's in no man's land.
I mean, but this is Croatia's number one here, so we're not talking about not talking about a mug, although he hasn't really played at a high level domestically. No. Internationally, he's obviously been involved in a very high level. It's becoming a bit of a
thing for us now, isn't it, goalkeeping? Like, it's becoming a
can't get off to a good start.
problematic position. You know, you look back at our last E24.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in nets the year we went down. You had Bunn, you had Guzan.
I mean, Guzan regressed horribly because when he came back, he started well. And then he just went to pieces. Yeah. And I always think, once you go to pieces, once you have like a bad season, goalkeepers very rarely recover from that, I always think. But you make a good point, because since we've been in the Championship...
Well, since Friedel.
Yeah.
Sam Johnson was probably the exception, but...
well, he got off to a bad start.
He was off to a bad start, but if you look at that, really...
But it's hard to recover from. Johnson did well because he did recover from it. Yeah. But if you look at since we've been in the Championship, we bought in Galini.
Shocking.
He got off to. I liked Galini, but he made a couple of mistakes in his first few games.
Yeah. And
then you jittery. Yeah, you're bound to be. Johnston, when he first came in, first 3 games, he must have made a few mistakes.
His first game was an FA Cup game against Spurs.
He didn't do anything wrong in that one, but he had a dodgy one at Brentford. Forest away, he dropped one. So he made mistakes at the start of his tenure. Nealon's coming in the first game. Jedinak sold him short, and he
hasn't recovered.
He's not recovered from that, and made mistakes pretty much all season. Although I do feel sorry for him. And then you get a new keeper, Kalinic.
So
you think, here we go, right, finally. And then I've got to be honest, I don't know whether you saw it. AVFC official put out a tweet on Saturday morning. It was one of those trend jumping tweets. It was like a Netflix thing: can't see, can't hear,
I don't keep
can't something else, and then it was can't wait to see his debut. And I saw that, and I just thought he's going to make a mistake today.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. Although I do think you can kind of defend him a little bit for that first one.
People say about a striker being the most important position on the pitch. For me, a goalkeeper starts in the back. I mean, I may bring up the Sunderland documentary a few times because I've watched it, and it's just interesting to kind of. I mean,
at this rate, no one who watches the Villa View is going to need to watch the Sunderland documentary.
Oh, so good, but it's just good to compare. I mean, you look at their big problem last year, and it was I think they did 3 goalkeepers. And they were just rotating 3 keepers within a season.
But that's panic stations of a manager not knowing what to do.
It is. And then they lose confidence, and the manager loses confidence, and the fan loses confidence, and the back 4 lose confidence. And
it resonates down the team.
Totally, completely.
We've said that before,
that's a massive thing for us. And for me, it's the one position that I would go with experience. You look at Bruce went with experience in the middle of the park with Whelan and Jedinak, but for me, you look at Brad Friedel when he came in. He was what 34, 35, and he was phenomenal for us. You don't need to be young to be a great goalkeeper.
No.
A lot of the great goalkeepers have played well into their mid to late 30s. So for me, it's all about experience. And you pointed out about like...
And Kalinic is 28 though.
Is he? Okay.
He's not young.
No, he's not young. Okay, right.
But he hasn't played a lot of games at what you would class as a high level.
No.
Really? It's a difficult one, isn't it?
We could have a show dedicated to goalkeeping, but
he needs to recover next week, doesn't he? That'll be a big test.
Massive test.
He's come in first game, ship 3. I mean, as debuts go for a goalkeeper, it's not gone brilliant.
It's not good, no.
But the test will be next week against Wigan. But I guess I feel sorry for him because you look at that back 4.
Hutton.
Like, why is Alan Hutton playing centre back?
But where's the benefit? It's like we always that year we went down. We were waxing lyrical about why don't you just play the kids? Like, what's the point in playing Lescott? What's the point in playing AU and the players that got us there? Why not freshen up with the kids?
I'm a bit hard because he's put in a massive shift
if you're gonna play the kids on Saturday, then play the kids. What are you going to learn from playing Hutton, centre back?
I've got to admit, I was surprised Hutton played at all because I think he's looked a bit leggy recently.
He's
had a bit of a hard time.
Yeah.
But Platt coming in and putting him in at centre back, it doesn't help him. It doesn't help the team.
No. It doesn't help the fans, the stadium, the atmosphere.
So I'm going to pull it up now because first off, I text my dad and said, "Can you give me some points from the Villa game on Saturday?" Because obviously he was there. He gave me nothing. So I text Aston Radford, who you know. I had a bit of a dig on you on Twitter, actually.
He did, yeah.
But we'll come on to that later. Don't talk about that now.
Slap.
But he gave me, every now and again, he does come across like someone who knows about football. So he gave me his match report of what he thought of the game. So I'm going to read it to you now, and obviously the people listening. Yeah, it's a pretty good report. I thought he said, "We looked slow, laboured with and without the ball. Swansea, like many other recent teams to visit Villa Park, made the pitch wide, which gave them endless amounts of joy. Got in behind the side of both fullbacks many a time, which I think we can say has been a pattern of recent games." That's the first paragraph. Any further thoughts on that? Fair?
Positioning, always a problem with our back 4.
Yeah. We didn't high press at all, which allowed time which allowed time of plenty on the ball for the likes of Leroy Fer, who picked many a key pass.
Can I just say that pass for was it for Dyer's goal? It was stunning.
It's too much time, though.
It's a great pass, though.
Yeah.
Great
but
pass.
I can make a good pass if I've got all the time in the world. Maybe.
Still a good pass.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Hogan missed 2 very good chances either side of the break, which proves he's still away from full fitness. But
he looked sharp. I thought he looked sharp in patches.
He didn't, apparently, from the people that were at. We weren't there, so we don't know. But I've heard from a few people now that he didn't look good. But then I think, well, the guy hasn't played a game all season.
No.
And he's playing in a shadow squad, so he's never going to look brilliant. But I'm sure we'll come on more to Hogan later. El Ghazi was our brightest player, within reason, who tried to make the most happen from wide areas, cutting in.
But got caught out for the third goal.
Again, no, it's all subjective, because I've heard from someone else that El Ghazi was no good.
No.
Lansbury, when he came on, had the bit between his teeth, and through his forward passes and switching of play finally gave us a drive forward and a foothold in the game, which was going to miss prior to his introduction. He flashed a shot just wide also. So we'll come on to all these points. Bree really struggled defensively and attacking wise, put the ball straight out of play 3 to 4 times when trying to deliver a cross into the box. Another point to raise
Hasn't played much either. So,
no. Is there any need for Hutton to play at centre half with Revan on the bench? If he isn't going to play in that game, when will he ever? And that last point, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
If Revan hasn't got a game in the last month or so,
why have him on the bench?
Yeah, you obviously don't trust
Put him
him.
alone.
There's no point in being here.
No, it's pointless.
But if I was a young player and I'm a centre back, I mean, Dean Smith will know better than us whether Dominic Revan
Was Dean Smith not centre back as well?
Huh?
Was Dean Smith
He's a
not centre
defender,
back as well?
I believe, yeah. So he must just decide that Revan's not ready. But then, like you say, there's no point in being on the bench then.
See, his case would be, it's good to get these youngsters in and around the first team because you learn. But just play him. I agree. I mean, it's like that kid last night that came on for Liverpool when Lover went off. Had a good game by all accounts, but just throw him in. Just throw him in.
There's no point in these youngsters being here.
No, it's
they're not going to get a game in those circumstances. Because, like you say, you learn absolutely nothing from Alan Hutton.
No.
Being a centre back. The last time Alan Hutton played centre back was Millwall, and that was in the league.
And we were there, and he got dog abuse.
He weren't good. It's not his, and again, it's not his fault because he is not a centre back.
I love Hutton.
Hutton's played right back this season in his proper position. And by all accounts, he's been good.
Been decent, yeah.
But he's had a tough time at left back.
Yep.
So they're moving him to a position he's even more uncomfortable with. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think you're going to win. You're going to lead goals with people playing out of position. It's a fact. You're not going to keep clean sheets.
But isn't it a little bit ironic that we crave for attacking football and we crave goals and we get the goals and we get attacking football, and now we're all craving for a solid defence? You can't win, can you?
Yeah, it's almost. If you could amalgamate Bruce and Smith, people would probably be happy. Although I'm sure Villa fans would still find something to moan about. Yeah, I've said here, making changes leads to a dysfunctional performance, and we didn't have momentum going into the game anyway because we were on a bit of a sticky patch. There's obviously a need to rest players, but the playing people out of position, we seem
to be masters of that, and I don't know why.
I'm fed up.
It's so obvious. I mean, like as fans, it was like so blatant what was going on at that football club at the start of the season. And isn't it funny again how like they've since recalled Elphick and they've since recalled Jed Steer. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, I think as football fans, I don't think we get enough credit for our knowledge of the game. People say, "Oh, you don't know what goes on in training. You don't know what happens between a Monday and a Friday," but it's pretty obvious on a Saturday afternoon when things aren't going right and players aren't playing well in their unsettled positions. Just stop playing in there. Jedinak, stop. Like, it was never going to work at centre back.
I don't know now. I look back at
never going to work at centre back.
I look back at Jedinak there now, and I think we're getting dominated aerially.
Well,
in general, obviously that was the reason Jedinak was put there, I think. But it still made no sense to get rid of Elfie because you can't just have 2 natural centre-backs in the squad. That makes no sense.
No.
But I can see the reason why Jedinak was there now because we aren't physical enough at the moment. I think we're getting bullied. And to be getting bullied against Swansea, conceding set pieces against Swansea, I wouldn't class as a particularly physical side.
Smaller than us.
That's a worry. I mean, we've beat them twice in the league with our first team, to be fair, so that's good. But I shouldn't be getting bullied by Swansea.
No, absolutely not. But it was just an off day. It was an off day, and you know what happens. And there were some huge upsets at the weekend.
Some good games, some really good games.
And you look at Sheffield United. Chris Wilder said that the fans should have booed louder.
But he made 10 changes, Chris Wilder, and the teams that make changes are the teams that have gone out. In all fairness, because they'll have been disjointed.
Yeah. How many changes did we kind of make?
It was at least 6 or 7. I mean, Hutton, Elphick, they stayed in.
O'Hare.
Bree.
Oh yeah, Bree.
Bree stayed in, didn't he? Did Bjarnason
McGinn
played?
McGinn,
yeah, McGinn's 4. McGinn still. Say again, that's another thing I don't get.
Why play McGinn?
So
But he said today, Smith said today, there was in an AV TV interview with Smith that
I haven't watched it.
He left him out before the Blues game. So he essentially had a game in his locker.
But he's a yellow card away from suspension, McGinn.
Not in the FA Cup.
No, that counts. It's all the same.
He said it didn't.
Not sure about that, Dan Smith. If you did say that, you could be misquoting.
Unless I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, that is fully possible.
Quite possible.
Yeah. One person that did play, Callum O'Hare.
Again, like, if you could do a meme for a Villa fan, it's like, play O'Hare. You play him. Oh, he's rubbish.
He's a bit like that. I think that's just social media in general, though. We're coming on. I've got some.
Lansbury's rubbish. He's rubbish. Comes on for half an hour. Wow, he's got to start next game. Phenomenal. Amazing.
I mean, in fairness to Aston, he's always championed Lansbury.
He has.
He's got posters of Henry Lansbury on his bedroom wall.
But Lansbury should have come into our team and walked it and strolled that league as he did for Forest. But
never did fit.
But O'Hare, like, listen, he's one of those kind of, everyone sees him as the next Jack Grealish, and I think we're kind of relying on him too much to do what Grealish did. We all know what's going to happen if we don't go up this season. Jack's going to go. And that's the one thing people say. Oh, it's okay this year if we don't go up, and give Smith a pre-season and give him some windows. If we lose Jack, I mean, look what's happened already since he's been out. We have
an absolute
shell of a team, and we just miss him. He's just been quality, absolute quality.
Shouldn't be too long now.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be too reliant on him either, and that's the thing. We haven't gotten up. We've got a lot of centre midfielders, but they're all very similar.
I agree with what Smith said, though, that if you lose your best player,
yeah, of course,
any team struggles.
Of course,
obviously not Man City. They lose De Bruyne, they put Bernardo Silva.
It's
a different world there. But in general, if you take the creative hub out of any team,
but we should have more than one creative hub in that squad.
I mean, there is, but then there's no one who does the things that Jack does. That's
he's pretty
the problem.
Unique. He is pretty unique.
He's a rare talent.
He really is.
Not many players in world football carry the ball as well as Jack does, with his close control and his quick feet. Even his style is completely unique, in my opinion.
Very unique. Yeah.
So he's irreplaceable. But again, you throw Callum O'Hare into that side, I don't really think he's ever going to shine.
No,
I don't think you're giving him a chance. If we play Saturday and picked our best 10, and then say didn't play, I don't know, let's say we didn't play Bjarnason, and we played O'Hare, and he was in that team with McGinn, Horahan, Tammy in front of him, Balassi, El Ghazi, whoever, Adoma. He'd do better, because he'd be playing with people that have played together before. That's the other thing. These players haven't played together. Hogan's leading the line on his own. The guy hasn't played since. Hasn't started a meaningful league game, because he started Millwall away on the last day last season. Won't have started a meaningful league game since probably April. So I didn't really have much of a pre-season.
Not shy of 12 months, really, if you look at it.
He's not going to hit the ground running, is he? It's difficult. And again, you said it that when he made a mistake for the first goal, where if you see it as a mistake, that first goal, he's probably been told to
keep the ball
do
and
that
bring it out.
Yeah, don't just get rid of it. We're obviously under different instructions, and as I said last week, that's something that the fans wanted.
That's it. Yeah,
so
that's it.
Wanted us to be brave. Dean Smith wants them to be brave.
And when you're brave in the ball, you make mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to be.
Look at Fulham. Look at Fulham last season.
Look at Fulham now.
And but in that league, like, you kind of just had this way of playing, and no matter how many mistakes they'd make from the back, no matter how many times they give it away at the back, they just persisted, and it paid off.
Yeah.
Again, looking back at that documentary last night, I watched it. There was a clip of the league table from last December, maybe start of the year. Fulham were like 17th.
Yeah, they flew up,
and they just, obviously we all know what happened, but because they had a way of playing, and they just believed in it, and a philosophy, and you have to have that philosophy, and it's going to take time. And I know myself, going into a store and having staff that you've not had a say in bringing in, and they're very, very different to obviously you're a different manager from the previous manager, and you have ideas, and not everyone kind of takes on what you say, and it's very, very difficult to try and get your point across.
I never thought we'd be comparing you working at Paul Smith.
No, but it's the same. It's the same. Like, you look at it in a very black and white way, and it's very difficult, and it's going to take time. It will take time. But my one big fear is, if we don't go up, it's just losing Jack. You can't replace him.
I mean, We can't hold. I think if we don't go up, I don't think personally we can hold Jack back any longer,
it wouldn't be
because
fair.
he's a Premier League player, and
is.
his career would be in danger of dwindling away if he did another year in the Championship.
And it isn't fair. It isn't
And
fair to keep
he's
him
done the right thing by Villa. To be fair, he signed the new contract. We'll get a very good fee.
Yeah. And with the 45-50 million quid we should get for him, if we don't go up, that'll kind of build the nucleus of next season's squad.
And that's the other thing. Smithy's working with, like you say, he's working with people that he didn't bring in.
No, and I've had 2 years under a very, very, very different set of coaches.
Yeah,
Agnew, Calderwood, Clements, and Bruce. All absolute donkeys.
Yeah, I mean, me and you were talking on text last night, and we were saying it's 2 years ago. Steve Bruce was relatively new into the Villa job, and there's some worrying parallels.
There really is, yeah.
I mean, I think Dean Smith's a more astute manager.
Yeah.
But there's some worrying parallels to when that season when Bruce took over.
He's kind of dwindled away a little bit, but
yeah. So he's inherited an unbalanced, expensive squad, which is exactly the same as Bruce did. To be fair, although he did go on and add to that bloatedness.
Well, you look at who Bruce bought in his first window in January.
Yeah.
Hogan, Hurahan, Bjornsson, Bree, Lansbury. Who else did he bring in January? Johnston.
6 players.
6 players.
And in my opinion, doing that kind of major surgery
all
in January
it
seldom works.
Never works. So we were at the Brentford game.
Yeah, and it takes time.
Their first game, he brought them all in. We got absolutely battered 3-0. One of the worst nights I've ever had. We're in. It was awful.
So I think Bruce, when he took over, I've said this on a podcast before, I think he almost started too well, and then we hit a bad patch. Is there a danger with Smith that the same kind of thing, that he started so well, we got some great results away from home, we were beating the big teams that are in the top 6
but if you break it down, I mean, we got cheated out of the West Brom game.
And that's where it's come from, that and Jack's injury.
We cheated out of the West Brom game. We've had a couple of draws, granted. Leeds was just,
my mind's still blown by that game.
It was just one of those sort of typical Villa games. But Leeds was just one of those that happens, unfortunately, in football. I mean, how many times did it happen over Christmas with Norwich and Forest and Leeds again? And it just happens.
Are you worried the season's going to dwindle away?
I don't know, because I don't know who he's going to bring in.
I'm still not.
I think we'll get playoffs.
You were about to say easily, weren't you?
Yeah, it was.
It was written all over.
I think we'll get playoffs. I think we'll get playoffs, but I just think 11 points from seconds. But you look at our run, and I made a comment the other day on Twitter saying, the next 3 have to be 9 points. That wasn't me having a dig at Smith at all. That was just me looking at who we're playing. Going,
we love Smith, don't we?
Of course we do. He's brilliant. He's amazing. But that's just looking at the fixtures, going, well, if we're gonna get anywhere in this league, we have to win these next 3 games.
Did you not think that from the games that have just gone, Preston and QPR? Did you not think the same? We need to win these games.
Preston, yes.
We didn't.
Preston, yes. I was more annoyed after Preston than I was after QPR.
Really?
Well, QPR, they're doing okay, They were
decent side.
They're up there, they're ahead of us in the league.
We've stuttered at home, big time though.
We really have, but we're better away. It's funny, because under Bruce, we were phenomenal at home, but dreadful away.
Yeah,
and now we blow teams off the park away from home, and at home we're kind of struggling a little bit. It's weird. I don't get it.
Do you think the anti-crowd plays a part?
Doesn't help.
Because this is going to sound, and I'm not digging people that don't go. That I didn't like some of the stuff that was said to you on Twitter the other day when you said something that we'll come on to. But you quite a lot get 30-odd thousand. They're there. The ones that are there every week are perhaps a bit more patient. Over the holiday season, you kind of get the people that don't go every week. You get a full house, and these people notoriously probably have stopped going because we've been relegated, for example, and they come back in and they've got all these grand expectations of how things should be. And I think it contributes to a bit of an antsy atmosphere at times, because I see a lot of people that go every week saying on Twitter, the fair weathers have come back and getting on the teams back already. And I've got to say, I do hear a lot in those kind of games. I feel like I hear a lot more rubbish coming from the stands.
I think the boos at half time were disgraceful.
I always think it's no good booing at half time. Boo at the end if you must.
Boo at the end if you must. And boo at the end if you've got a reason to boo. And if we're in a slump, but we're not in a slump, everyone just needs.
But it feels like we're in a bit of a slump. Realistically, we've only lost one league game in the last.
We've only won 1 in 7 or something, isn't it? 6, 1, 1 and 6. But
I'm not saying things are all rosy because they aren't, but I just think they're not as bad as it's been made out.
In this league, we've just drawn far too many games.
That's been our problem in the whole championship.
So I'm saying in this league, in the last 3 seasons, we've just drawn far too many games. And how many? I mean, we'd be top of the league if we had stayed in a winning position. We've lost 21 points from.
I mean, you're going to blow points at some point.
Oh yeah, but not like every week. It's looking like we go one up and we're giving away sloppy goals. That's what cost Bruce's job. Yeah. That's what cost Bruce. Bruce would possibly still be in a job if you look back at Reading and Ipswich, Preston. Well, maybe that's it. Yeah. But we've just blown so many points, and we've drawn far too many games. And draws are no good in that league.
No.
They're just no good. You need 3 points. I'd rather lose 2 and win 1.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say is that it felt sometimes like Bruce would settle for a draw and be happy with that.
Yeah.
I don't get that vibe.
No, not at all.
With Smith at all.
Not at all.
So that's a positive. So we've been talking about this 2016-17 season. So I've done a Tom Julian here, and I've actually made some notes. And actually, I've done some research, which is quite rare.
Which is rare, yeah.
For me going into a podcast. So we've gone on about the parallels of that season and this season. So after 26 games that season under Bruce, we were sitting 13th, 35 points, 10 points off 6th. Me thinking it's a similar situation at the moment is actually incorrect because we're sitting 10th.
Six
and
points.
We're 5 points.
5 points off
6.
Yeah.
So although I think there is parallel, I think it's got the potential to go that way if things don't pick up. And I'm worried about doing too much January surgery like we did.
Well, there's much more of a settled squad. I mean, this squad have been together now for the guts of 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Really. We just need a left back, and we need a right back as well. I mean, we need 3 players. I think we need 3.
Is it an emergency?
Well, to be fair, one of our best right backs is in Australia.
He's not coming back either. He said he didn't want to come back. I don't know whether we've tried, but he does not want to come back with the quotes I saw.
Why have we constantly shipped him out alone?
We had a great pre-season.
Phenomenal pre-season. Like, he's one of our best right backs, and he's won the league. He's won that league with Middlesbrough. So you talk about bringing in players that have experience at that level. He's won the league.
I mean, we'd have almost been better served keeping Delat and loaning Brie out to get regular football every single week. Send him back to Barnsley in League One, get him back playing, get some confidence back.
Very strange decisions, but I think we need 3 players.
But do you then not think that is too many, like that 2016-17 season where you've said we brought in 6 players? Is that not verging on 5-6 again? Plus we've brought 2 players back from loan who've not played under Smith before. I always think it's too risky doing too much in January. We've got House in. I think that's a good signing. I think he offers balance.
Don't really know
anything. Although he hasn't played for 18 months.
He hasn't played. I mean,
so again, he's going to take time to bed in.
He's played like 20 games in 2 or 3 years.
But Villa fans are wanting to come in and hit the ground running.
Of course, and if he doesn't, that'll be it. Boom.
But he won't.
Garbage.
I'm saying,
of course he won't.
18 months out. Not through injury. I just don't think he's played.
He's probably fit.
He's an athletic guy. Left-footed, offers balance. I think he'll help Chester because I think Chester will be able to move to his correct side.
Well, I said to you on the WhatsApp, he's pretty much a direct replacement for Twinsibi. Whether or not he'll come into the team and play,
I don't think he's as good as on the board as Twinsibi.
No, he's not as good. No, I think he's another massive miss for us, a massive blow. Somebody said it in the fan cams how he would bring the ball out from the back.
Yeah, he was bang on point. That was,
which is a great point.
Absolutely bang on.
He was very good, that guy. Actually,
yeah, he was. There was a lot of good people that week.
And it's the small details. Like we really miss him. Like he was just starting. Him and Chester were just starting to forge a really, really good partnership. You look at Derby, you look at Middlesbrough. They had a really good understanding, and there was a lovely balance between them as well.
But I look at Chester and think that there's a guy there that's good on the ball. Why is he not bringing the ball out in the same way Twinsibi was? He's not as good on the ball as Twinsibi, but he's decent.
He's decent. I don't know. I couldn't answer that. Maybe again instructions. I'm not sure. But whatever you say about Twinsibi, he's been phenomenal for us and a massive miss. And it's just a shame. He's 10 weeks out.
Yeah. So when Smith came in, he immediately settled on a goalkeeper and a back 4. And he basically said, "This is my back 4. I'm going to play them into form. I'm going to make them a cohesive unit."
Taylor, Houghton.
And generally it worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's the injuries that have not helped, and people are overlooking that we're patching together back 4s every single week.
And we have done all season.
Yeah, but I think that run...
3 weeks, 4 weeks?
That run we had under Smith where he came in and we thought, right, we're in business here. That back 4 didn't change.
No.
They were getting to the team, was getting to know each other. Connor was playing in front of that back 4. McGinn, Jack. The only thing that would really be fluid was either Codger or El Ghazi.
Yeah.
So the team was the same every week.
Yeah.
We just haven't had that luxury.
No.
I mean, we've made a rod for our own back at the weekend in the FA Cup, asking for trouble with that team selection, but as I say, I'm not too upset about it. But in the main, I think people overlook the injury count. I know everyone gets injuries, but it does disrupt when you're trying to build something, you're trying to get people to learn a new way of playing, which is what Smith's been doing. It disrupts.
Yeah. Yeah, and even our squad players were getting injured, like Lansbury, Bjarnason, Adoma.
Yeah, Lansbury lasted about 5 minutes against Spurs,
in fact, if Lansbury hadn't pulled up, then Hutton wouldn't have gone on that run. If you look just before Hutton's goal against Blues, Lansbury pulls up and tells him to carry on.
I'm sure he might have carried on anyway. Yeah.
But no, you're right, man. It's been a sticky patch. But I think I like your man from the Star, Express and Star, Matt
Meyer.
I think he's very, very sort of concise, and he said that all really Smith was looking to do was just get ourselves to January within touching distance,
and we are,
and we've played some great stuff. We've had some great results. We're building a philosophy. We're building. You can see what he wants to do, and unfortunately, it's going to take time. But football's a real funny old game. You know, we can go on a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game winning run.
Yeah,
you just don't know, and especially in that league, it's a crazy league.
It's a nuts league.
Anything can happen. So it's game by game, man. Really.
Right, we've dwelled for 35 minutes pretty much. Now let's focus on the good news that we've had today. Although I'm still a bit apprehensive about celebrating it with the window being open, but it seems now that Tammy is staying.
Yeah, but isn't the recall clause? Has he got it until 14th before it kind of shuts?
I mean, in all honesty, that was from the papers. I don't know whether I believe everything that's in the papers. Last week he was going on a permanent to Wolves. Yeah. This week it was a loan. I don't think anyone knows. But there's no smoke without fire. There was something happening.
Yeah, something's happening, of course. Blassie's Instagram post, don't go, and then he's like, my guy, and he cries.
But that looks like that to me. I thought then
that was it. But then Jack's tweet today saying,
I trust that.
Because they're obviously best mates.
Oh, yeah,
so Jack's not going to put that out there if Tammy hasn't said, I'm staying, mate. There's no way he would have done that. So that to me signifies that he's going to stay.
A lot of people on Twitter have alluded to the fact that they'll never trust anything because of Delph.
Well, there is that.
I mean, he changed his mind about 1,000 times, didn't he?
Yeah, there is that. But no, I'm fairly confident. It sort of feels like a new signing, really, because after the doom and gloom of Saturday, which was kind of combined with the fact that Abraham was going to go, and there was talk that morning. Really, that's when it first started to kind of raise its head about him leaving. And then so you read that on Saturday morning, and then then you get beaten by Swansea, and it's all like, oh no, doom and gloom. And this is could be a great catalyst for us. Could just lift everyone, because I'm sure Bodymore Heath was pretty sombre and pretty gutted about it.
Do you think that I've put down here? Do you think that speculation unsettled us going into Saturday? If it affected the performance?
I don't know, man. I mean, who knows?
It could be a contributing factor.
Yeah, I'm sure there was many. Alan Hutton at centre back, but
I just wanted to be clear, we're not picking on Alan Hutton here, because I don't think he should be playing there. I don't blame
Hutton at all. No,
playing there, but it just seemed a bizarre decision. Especially when Bree's been playing there and Hutton's been playing fullback. But let's leave that there. Let's leave that there. It's turning into the Alan Hutton at centre back podcast.
But no, so this could be a massive tonic for us, and I think.
Do you think it'll get us going?
I think it will. I think it'll probably even revitalise Tammy as well. I mean, not that he needs much.
Does he need revitalising?
No, but it's gonna give everyone a massive lift. And it feels like a new signing, really, because we thought he was gone.
No, I didn't. I said you didn't.
Yeah, you didn't. I was convinced.
And I didn't base that on anything. It was just a gut feeling that I had that he'd end up staying.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything.
No, and because your contacts didn't really even know anything.
I was going to all sorts of different places that I go to, and I was hearing different things.
Didn't.
Yeah.
So
one thing I will say is I think this whole scenario smacks of the agent.
Oh, completely.
I really think it does, because I was speaking to my mate at work
more
earlier.
Powerful. They're becoming the most powerful part of football club agents.
So Tammy's at Chelsea allegedly on about 50k a week. He moves to Villa on loan right at the end of the loan window. Yeah. Apparently Villa are paying another 20k 70. On top of that. So instantly the agent's rubbing his hands together. He's getting an extra cut. Mm-hmm. Wolves are then suddenly coming in and trying to take him on loan, and again pretty much doubling what he's on. Villa and Chelsea combined. Villa are paying the whole of this fee, I believe. Mm-hmm. The agent's only going to make money if Tammy Abraham moves. So it benefits the agent for Tammy Abraham to keep moving. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I don't think most agents give a toss where they're playing, as long as they make their money.
Of course they don't.
If that agent thinks it's better for Tammy Abraham to stay at Villa because of personal reasons, but better to move to Wolves for financial reasons, the agent's going to pick the financial side every single time.
Of course it is.
And I know from stuff in the summer with various transfers how much of a part agents play. And it won't be all agents, because there'll be some good agents out there as well that care about the welfare of the players. But most are only in it for themselves.
Of course they are, mate.
And I find it infuriating.
That's been known for many years.
No, but I just think it's gone to such a grand scale now.
It used to be manager power, and then it was player power, and now it's agent power.
The money is just a joke now.
It's obscene, and it's like I sort of say, how can we relate? It's almost becoming, well, it is becoming the stage where how can the man on the terrace, how can the man in the pub relate to his football team?
I've got to say, we've got a squad of good guys.
We've got a good bunch of lads, but it's becoming more and more difficult. Like, you look at the money in football now, it's obscene. It's absolutely obscene. And
I think Dean Smith's quite grounded, so I think that helps with us.
No, I agree, but it's just the whole thing is becoming obscene, and you know, the days of loyalty, they're kind of long gone. But I'm hoping Tammy, I'm hoping this was his decision, and it'd be great for him to come out and maybe, you know, make a few.
I mean, I don't think he'll say
make a few words. He probably won't, because, and I doubt the club will either, because it's kind of, you know, you just want to keep these things as low key as possible. But it's nice, it's refreshing if that is the case. If Abraham's decided to stay because he loves the club and loves the fans.
I mean, I don't think Tammy Abraham loves the club. He's got no loyalty to Villa.
No, not love, but he's really enjoying himself.
He can enjoy playing here, but we've seen pictures of him banging the Swansea badge, and I don't think he had a great time.
No.
Swansea.
He's quite a passionate bloke. I mean,
I love him. I do. Don't get me wrong. I love him.
I've been to quite a few away games this season, and he always comes up to the away fans and always, like, you know, especially after Millwall, he was like apologising, you know, and it means a lot to him. He seems like a very passionate bloke, and if he stays, it'll be an amazing.
People are comparing the banging on the chest. People are saying, this banging on the chest means something. To me, it's completely different to kissing the badge.
Well, they're doing
it's a completely different thing.
So it's all nonsense. The whole bad kissing thing is just nonsense anyway, you know.
But people are saying because he's banging the badge, he's giving it the big one that he loves Aston Villa. I don't think that's what patting the badge is doing.
Well, it's kind of like it's that whole kind of like.
If he's there grabbing the badge and kissing it, then okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack when he scores has kissed the badge
on
occasion.
He's Villa through and through.
Because he loves Aston Villa.
Of course he
so
does.
he's not kissing the badge. He was just banging it. I think it's a completely different thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But listen, let's hope we can kind of see out the next 7 days, because I think
it's a long time in football. 7 days, Chris.
Well, 24 hours. He was gone, wasn't he? And now he's staying. So as you said before, still not completely convinced, but it's looking a lot better than it did last night. So.
Yeah, Christopher Poyner, who actually I used to go to school with, on Twitter said, "Is this the best thing for Tammy?" I think it is.
Yeah,
no guarantees when you move.
But it's coming out now. Like it's like we're sick to death at the minute. And Smith's alluded to the fact, and Perzo obviously alluded to the fact with bringing in Courtney House. It's like bringing in players on loan, developing them, and then sending them back, and then that club getting the benefit of our hard work. It's getting bored of it. Getting sick.
I mean, the Johnston one's a prime example.
I mean, he wouldn't have gone anywhere near West Brom. He was under the radar.
But we would have signed him.
Yeah, but he was under the radar, really. Like, he hadn't done much in the game. He played for Preston for a season or two, but we kind of took him to the next level, and we lost him, and we're suffering.
Well, I don't think he's doing great at West Brom.
No, he's not. But he loved it at Villa. Like, he wanted to stay.
He wanted
loved
to
it.
1,000%. He wanted to stay.
You know, and it would have been a lot. We would have been a lot higher in that league if he was with us. But is it the best thing for Tammy? Yeah, it probably is at the minute, because is he really going to get on? Is he a kind of a Wolves kind of player? He's a. I
think he's good enough to play there.
He's a target man, really. You know, I mean,
do you see him as a target man?
Well, how many goals has he scored with his head?
Yeah, he's good in the air, but I still wouldn't class him as an actual target man.
Well, he holds it up well. He's big, he's tall, he's physical.
He's quick as well.
He's quick.
Gets in behind. He's a bit of a poacher.
Yeah.
He's got the attributes of a poacher.
He has everything, really.
Yeah.
You know, he has everything.
He'll go on to be a great player.
Yeah, he'll go on to play for England, and he'll go on to play in the World Cup without a doubt.
He's already played for England, hasn't he, as well? Do you think that was in his thinking? If he was thinking about the Wolves move, and I can say this from his point of view, actually, if he goes and scores in the Premier League in the second half of the season and does well at Wolves, England are pretty short on strikers. Would he'd have had a chance of the Nations League, I would have said.
Yeah, I would have said a year ago that the players really want to play for England anymore.
They do now.
They do now. Yeah. You know, they do now under Southgate and under the new regime. So I would say yes. You know, I'd want to be part of that squad that went to the World Cup. Looked amazing. Like what a squad of lads to sort of to play with. So yeah, I do think that's a big thing, and I think a player who plays for Chelsea obviously it's that mindset of success, and of course he wants to play at the top. But if you're not going to play in the Premier League, without a doubt, we are the next best thing in terms of structure and fan base and stadium and everything. We are the next big thing outside the Premier League, without a doubt. So he may not be playing at the top level, but he's playing for one of the top clubs in the country in terms of overall history.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was an amazing stat last year whenever John Terry played at home against Birmingham, and it was the biggest home crowd he's ever played in front of. Because we've got a bigger capacity than Chelsea, and that's staggering, really, when you think about it.
Everything is there for us to really go on and have some success. And the person that brings it, or the people that bring it, are going to be remembered in folklore just because of how bad the last 10 years have been. As well. We'd certainly due some success, but I can see why the Wolves thing must have turned its head, because let's face it, the Premier League's where everyone wants to be at.
Wolves are a great side, and they've got one of the sort of top new managers as well.
I can see him.
I know. If Pochettino goes to United, I can see someone like him going to Spurs. You know,
that's a big shout.
He plays some great stuff.
Do a £10 friendly bet that doesn't happen.
I tell you what, he'll be at a top 5 or 6 club. If Wolves aren't in the top 6, he'll be at a top 5 or 6 club in the next 2 seasons.
I'm going to give you a friendly £10 bet to charity.
With it, yeah.
But that doesn't ever happen.
Okay, well, I think he'll be at.
I could end up with pie on my face, but I genuinely don't see it like that. I don't want to make this a Wolves podcast.
But if I'm a young player and I'm going to want to play for someone like him,
he'll never get to a top 6 club though. Never. I mean, to be fair, we could hold on to this £10 forever, because you could keep saying in 10 years' time there's still a chance. There's still a chance.
Yeah. No, but I said within the next 2 years.
All right, we'll keep it for 2 years.
Next 2 years.
You wait for the Villa View podcast season 4 when Dolan's handing over that £10 to charity. We've touched on it a little bit and our annoyance with it, but you put a tweet out on Saturday night after the Villa game with the AVFC.
Yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me thinking.
I knew what you meant.
It's not hilarious. I'm not laughing.
Just tell the people, because people won't know. Some people don't have Twitter.
Well, just because you said, you know, I wasn't at the game on Saturday, and of course my only mode really of following the game is sort of up to date is on the AVFC hashtag, is on Twitter. Just some of the things that were coming out, like all of a sudden, Smith out, you know, Kalinic out.
Get it off,
you know,
not you.
it's just ridiculous, and so, you know, this is the worst football. This is worse than it was under Steve Bruce, and
it's not.
It's ridiculous, and that's what I meant by hilarious. It was like, yeah, of course, I'm not laughing that we got beat 3-0, of course, and I'm pissed off and upset.
Can you stop swearing, please? You can't be swearing on the Villa View podcast, mate.
I'm peeved off.
I'm going to have some work to do now. I've got no pen to write that down.
47 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm peeved off and upset, but you can't start saying Smith out. The keeper's had one bad game. I mean,
I think people are jumping on the fact that probably Neeland had one bad game and then in their eyes it continued, obviously.
Of course, but it's just. But I think, and I've said before, I think you know, every football fan's the same. You win a game and it's the best feeling in the world, and you lose a game and it's the worst feeling in the world. You know, a player bangs in a 30-yard free kick and he's a genius. Next game he has 2 or 3 free kicks and he skies them, and what's he doing taking free kicks? You can't You can't win. You just cannot win. And
the Tammy stuff's a prime example. So
he was getting battered. He's getting battered,
and you know he's staying.
Yeah, no, he's the best in the world.
And probably people that were tweeting him having a pop at him are now tweeting him saying, "I love you, Tammy." Of
course. I mean, I was annoyed. I was annoyed too at the fact he was leaving. I was like, "Oh, come on, man! What's up?" You know. And I thought, if he's going for the money, but then again, I was just going off what I was reading in the press.
You can't trust the press.
You can't trust the press. Absolute. You know, a lot of it's absolute nonsense. But you just have to kind of keep a level head, really. So that's what I meant when it was hilarious.
But you got backlash.
But sure, who cares? I don't really care.
No, I wanted to talk about it personally because it's something that annoys me. So, as I've said, I think Twitter's a pretty toxic place.
It really is, yeah.
It feels like when I go through my feed, I find it very rare at the moment that I see something that I think is classed as sensible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rubbish on Twitter, and a lot of it gets retweeted, to be fair, because it is rubbish.
Yeah.
But you've put that tweet out, and a few people. I've not spoken to Aston about it. He's had a pop. You're saying you wouldn't find it funny if you went.
Oh yeah,
just because you don't go to the game. It doesn't make your opinion any less valid than mine.
No. I
obviously make quite a lot of effort to go to home games, but that's because my circumstances allow me to.
Of course I do.
Your job.
I can't.
You can't. We've got so many wonderful people that listen and watch the Villa View that aren't even in the country.
Yeah, so their point isn't valid.
They want the best for Aston Villa. They want the same stuff that I do. Just because you're not
at the Villa fans since 1984, mate. You mean,
just because you're not at the games, people get to as many games as they can.
Yeah,
and that's fine. Like, I've got no problem with that. But to say that someone's opinion is less valid because they don't go,
yeah,
it's not fair.
No.
And I don't like it.
I mean, that wasn't. I don't class that.
And that wasn't what you were doing. Is the worst thing.
No, I wasn't having a go. I was just sort of saying like it's hilarious that people are so up there when we win and so like down there when we lose. And Smith out, I just find that absolutely staggering, just for people to even mention that and people to even talk about it.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. You know, if I was a football player or a manager, I wouldn't be anywhere near social media. I wouldn't be anywhere near it.
I'm telling you, players read it.
Of course they do. You know, we speak to a few players. I speak to a few players. You speak to a few players on the daily, and of course they read it. Of course they do. Like, you know, they're on Twitter. They see what's happening, and it can't be nice. And
they're human beings at the end of the day. Okay, they earn a lot of money, but they're human beings.
And if I'm playing for Villa and I'm Nyland or Callan, it's I'm like,
some of the stuff after Nyland injury.
I'd be like, you know what? See you later. I'm out here.
The guy's just had an op. And people are commenting on Instagram saying, I'm glad you're injured and stuff like that. It's
ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
I know, it's unbelievable. Like, there's no place for that.
I was in the toilet after one of the, I think it was the game Al Mohammedi made a mistake, so it would have been the Leeds game. I was coming out of the toilet and I heard someone say, I hope Al Mohammedi dies. I mean, what's going through people's minds? Yeah, we all love football.
The one thing about football that I detest, and I really detest it, is some of the nonsense that you hear.
That's not even nonsense, mate.
The viciousness. And you know, you look at that scumbag at Chelsea who was racist towards Sterling. And
again, that's something I've never understood.
Horrendous,
just shouting dogs abuse at players for no reason.
But the sheer anger in his face, it's like it's football. Like it's a game, it's a sport. Yes, we love it. Yes, we get passionate. Yes, sometimes it pulls over. But like,
there's a line.
There's a line, and more times than none, fans just cross the line. And you know, you watch that mug DT on Arsenal Fan TV, and whenever they played Spurs, when they beat Spurs 4-2 at home, the amount of times he said the C word towards their players and their fans, and his son's with him.
I mean, that guy, don't even get me started on that guy.
And it's like, mate, what are you doing? Like, and it's just, the mind boggles, and it's the one thing. It's the one thing that would drive you away from football, is some of the morons that you see on the daily, and some of the moronic stuff that you read on the daily, and how aggressive and how abusive it is, and some of the stuff you've had to deal with as well. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's pretty much war orthodox.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, can I just say, this is a minority here.
Oh, totally.
It's always the minority that scream the loudest.
And this isn't us kind of, you know, oh, look at us, so per us. This is just come up in our yeah. But people might go, oh, the Villa View did another video, love us. No, that's not what it's about. We're you know, we obviously put ourselves out there, and we have the kind of the balls to do what we do. And we actually go on to a public forum and give our views.
I mean, I get stuff wrong all the time.
Of course we do, like, so, you know, at least we're doing it.
They take joy out of people getting things wrong and making a mistake.
Totally.
It's just a bizarre mindset.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's getting worse.
Totally.
I love social media. Social media's done well for me.
Oh, and me,
to
man.
be fair.
Sure, that's what we meant, and that's why we're here through
but
the world of Twitter.
There's a side of it that I just do not like.
It's dark,
and I can't get on board with. I mean, it's turned into I don't know, a political show here, hasn't it? I'm trying to think. We've gone through
Brexit.
Don't
discuss Brexit next.
Hey, that's another world. I don't even want to try and get involved in that stuff. That's beyond my knowledge base. So, yeah, as I was saying, just because you don't. My main point was, just because you're not at every game, your opinion is no less valid than anyone else's. I've
travelled halfway across London tonight on a Tuesday night.
To do a podcast.
So what? Because if you're not at the game, like, Does that not make me any more valuable?
I've got to be honest, neither has been in the game. Probably hasn't helped with this podcast, but that's just the way it is. But the point I want to try to make is that, I mean, I was in New York a few weeks ago. I go to a Villa bar to watch Villa play in America.
And I get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Sorry about that. For people, someone wanted to talk to you. For people that love Aston Villa, they don't go to the games, but they go to the bar in New York and they watch it every single week. Brilliant. They don't care about Villa any less than I do.
Totally.
They're like the other side of the world and just want to watch Villa and support their team.
You do what you can do.
I think that's the crux.
But we all have one mutual feeling, and we all love our football club, and that's it.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Questions? Any questions?
I mean, to be fair, we seem to have answered most of them as we've been going through, but Ian F has asked about Jordan Lydon.
Yeah,
I don't know
funny
whether
one.
You saw.
Funny
He's
one.
been recalled, hasn't he?
Well, but then somebody said he hasn't been recalled. His loan just ended.
He'll be going back there surely if it's just ended.
I don't think he's at all good enough.
I'd rather
have Gary Gardner back, and that's saying something.
I mean, I'd like to have Gary Gardner back to derail Birmingham, but
yeah, why don't we do that? It's a perfect idea.
We spoke about it last week. You didn't listen to it because you didn't do the podcast. You should have listened to the podcast. You were there poking pins into Tom Julian voodoo.
I barely even watch it whenever I am on it. To be fair, no, I do.
Look at you watching when you're on it, not when you're not. That's poor. Poor. Are you supposed to be a fan?
I'm a fan.
You're a Villa View fan.
Well, no, obviously my opinion isn't valid whenever I'm not on the show.
I didn't say that, but yeah, he did well for Oldham on Saturday, Sunday.
Did he play?
Yeah, they won 2-1 at Fulham. Not Fulham out. Lydon was involved. Missed an early chance, put him one over the bar, but he's
never
had a good time there.
Yeah, but he's never really played for us. So
this is his first consistent run of football.
Yeah,
at the highest, not the highest level, senior level.
He captained the under-21s, didn't he, for a few seasons? But he's never had a run in the first team at all. In fact,
you just sat there and said he's not good enough. You've not really seen him.
Yeah, but from what I've seen, he isn't good enough, and he's obviously not going to be good enough if he's being shipped out on loan every season.
I mean, I predict he's not going to.
Gary Gardner. Have you ever seen Gary Gardner have a real run in the first team? No, but we know he isn't good enough.
He's had a run now.
At Blues,
Birmingham, hasn't he? Doing all right by all accounts.
He always does well when he goes out on loan.
Someone else on loan who did well in the FA Cup. Don't know whether you saw it. Andre Green.
Yeah.
Good little cheeky finish.
Yeah, but somebody again said and this is the kind of Andre Green, is he our best youngster?
He's either all in or all out, isn't he?
Because he scored a goal against Norwich in the last minute of the FA Cup, which is what I said to a Villa page, and not having a go, but just like, is he our best player? Why? Because he scored it? Well, no, he's not. He's actually had a pretty average time at Portsmouth.
He's not been in the team.
He's not been playing. He's had a pretty average time. He scored 4 goals.
He's had a good FA Cup.
Even his first touch, which I questioned, was poor. His first touch was so bad that it actually helped him because it rebounded off their defender and it came back to him.
Like what we were saying about Bree, we think that he'd have been better served going out on loan. We kept to that. Green is better served having a whole season at Portsmouth and coming back to Villa and being 5th choice winger.
And they play good football. You know, he's going to be successful. He's going to get confidence. So perfect. I mean, everyone questioned it when he went. Oh, Green, why? But you know, when you have Balassi, El Ghazi, Kodja, Adoma,
he isn't going to play, is he? So what's the point of him coming back?
Exactly. So that was one of Bruce's better decisions.
That's why Lydon will be going back out again, I would think.
He won't. He's 6th, 7th choice.
His contracts are out in the summer, I think. I could be wrong there. Don't quote me on that, Villa View Public. But I think his contract could be.
He may well be back, but I really cannot see him getting into the team.
He's playing every week at Oldham, so again, send him back.
Send him back
there. Exactly. Let him play every week because he isn't going to play ahead of the midfielders that are there at Villa. Right, let's get to. We haven't really we spoke about Wigan much, but I mean there'll be a match preview for that. At some points, are probably not.
They're one of those teams. They're one of those up and down teams. They can turn on one week.
They're on a bad run.
They are, but you know
they're on a difficult run like us, I would say.
We're not on the greatest of runs.
I mean, they've lost to Paul Lambert's Ipswich on Saturday the 15th of December 1-0, and Ipswich, I think that must be the only game Lambert's won.
Yeah, it is.
Since he's been there. So.
Can't wait to see him back at Villa Park.
Oh, mate, don't, because he beat us before, hasn't he? He beat us with Wolves.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to having a bit of a tough time of it at the moment. West Brom knocked them out of the FA Cup at the weekend. The game previous to that, they lost 3-0 at home to Sheffield United. So it's a chance for Villa to start a run, isn't it?
Yeah, last time we went there, we won 2-0. Chester and Hogan. It's Hogan's first goal for us.
That was the season before, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was the last time we were there, though, because they went down. So I would expect to go on and win that on Saturday, but you know, they give us a good game at our place at the start of the season.
We were lucky to win that game.
They were very good, and they've gone to Stoke and they've won the beaten Stoke.
But confidence now.
It's all about confidence. I think we should blow them away. We really should. We should be blowing out most teams.
I don't think we'll be blowing them away, Dolan.
No, but I can. I think it'll be 3-0. I think I can see us having another one of those 3-0 away days.
It's a bold shout, but it wouldn't be a podcast with Chris Dolan if he wasn't coming on here making some wild prediction.
Do you want to bet on that as well?
No, can't afford anymore. Moving on to the now famed Any Other Business.
Yeah, what is that?
Section. Because you didn't watch the podcast last week, you don't know. I was laughing at Tom's notes, having any other business.
Did you have an AOB on there?
Like it was a big, important agenda.
That's so Tom Julian, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not even joking.
So
I've come here with 3 pages of notes. Tom had an anthology of notes last week.
Double-sided as well.
It was like an autobiography of notes. It was unreal, the amount of notes.
That's why it was the longest podcast ever, was it not?
That's true. I mean, mate, we're doing a pretty good job of that ourselves, to be fair. An hour in, yeah. There's been links today with Wes Edens acquiring a percentage of FC Copenhagen. I don't know whether you've seen that.
I did. I also saw that per Dr. Tony.
Yeah, there's that as well, wasn't there?
Is under the 25. He owns less than 25% now.
Yeah,
and has pretty much not got a say in the club anymore, which is what was going to happen. He was going to be phased out anyway.
I mean, he's in a different league with money, I think.
Completely. Per Tony's being absolutely, found out. But I said before, I think the reason how the sale was done so quickly was because of the way we were bought. We obviously weren't bought outright.
Yeah, it's easier, isn't it?
So it was like, right, everyone knew what was going to happen. Tony was never going to have a say once they came in. That was it. But it was the way it was kind of gradually just bit by bit
down, isn't it?
And that's the way it's going to be. I think by the end of the season they'll probably officially go and it'll all be official. But
FC Copenhagen.
Don't know anything about them really. I mean, is this going to be like a feeder club?
I mean, we don't know. All that's happened is Wes Edens is involved in some form of.
It's nothing to do with us. It's nothing to do with it.
You'd imagine if Wes Edens is involved, that it's going to have, even if it's not.
Could be good. Get those guys.
The last ownership were talking about doing stuff in Scandinavia, weren't they, with Feeder? It never materialised.
They're also talking about opening up a fairground,
and the Villa engine,
and the Villa. Yeah. There was a lot of things at the last ownership.
Yeah, a few things didn't really get off the ground. But it's interesting. Hopefully, we'll find more out about this, and we'll be able to talk about it next week because the details are very sparse at the moment. So, should we get some questions?
Yeah.
You got enough time? I know you got to get back.
I'm off tomorrow. I'm off for the next few days. So
lucky for you. Dean Caffrey said Keenan Davis is back. Good news. Kieran Hans asked about him.
Great win last night.
Well, saying
5-1 against.
Yeah, him and Hepburn Murphy.
Great goal from Murphy. Did you see it? Oh, stunner. Absolute. He's such a talent, man. It's one of those kids. He's just
mental. The mental side of the game.
Injury as well. Injuries.
Injury doesn't help. But anyway, interrupting.
Sorry.
You're going off on tangents there, Dolan, as you do. So he's back. I think these kind of questions were asked before we knew that Tammy was staying. To be fair, you're saying should Keenan Davis be more involved? Is he a natural replacement for Tammy?
I don't think he's Dean Smith's kind of player.
I think he could be.
He is a target man. He is a target man.
Yeah.
And I just don't see him.
He's not a goal scorer, is he?
Not a goal scorer, and I don't see him really. I don't know what he would bring to Dean Smith's style of play. I think
you'd need two up front, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I mean, if we're gonna use him, he'll be used as an impact sub if we're chasing the game. But I just can't see where he's going to fit in.
What I will say is, I think his hold-up play is possibly better than Tammy's. His hold-up play is exceptional for someone of his age.
He's a big lad, though. He's a unit, whereas Tammy's very kind of.
He's not a goal scorer, is he? He's not proven to be a goal scorer.
No.
So far, Ben Met on SU does fan cams quite a lot. Says he's more of a Heskey, not really a natural goal scorer. So it'd be tough to ask him to replace Tammy just because of the goal output.
Oh, you couldn't replace. No, you wouldn't replace. So yeah, he wouldn't be. I mean, I'd rather replace Hogan with Abraham if it was to happen. But no, you wouldn't replace Davis and expect 15 goals.
But you're pleased to see Davis back involved in the first team?
Yeah, because he was brilliant last year. He was phenomenal last year to come in and do what he did. Lead the line the way he did. His first game against Norwich was phenomenal. Scored some really important goals. Burton,
even though he didn't score many, he
Barnsley.
got other people around him were scoring.
He was really respected the guy because he's a young kid and he came in and he led the line and he did very well. So he's got a big future, definitely.
Jay Morgan said we went to 4-4-2 and we look better. Would you see that as a long-term option?
Bruce wanted 4-4-2. I don't like it.
4-4-2.
No, I like having the two. I like the kind of 4-5-1, but like 4-3-3 essentially.
What we play.
Which is what we play, and I've always thought that worked for us. Even when Bruce came in, he did it, and it always worked for us. I think that three in the middle with Jack as a number 10. I just think it works so well.
And you know what? That's why we can't play 4-4-2.
Because Jack doesn't fit Jack. It doesn't suit Jack's.
That means Jack has to play more defensive.
Yeah,
and we saw it with games last season when we were losing and Bruce took one of the midfielders off, put him in the striker room.
Doesn't work.
It just completely hindered Jack, which is not what we want because he's a special talent.
And just because you're not playing with two strikers doesn't mean you're being any less offensive.
It'd be nice to play with two strikers, don't get me wrong, because I think it would bring the best out of someone like Hogan, for example.
But Hogan's isn't ever going to lead the line. But I think it depends. I mean, on the personnel. I think if Jack's not playing and Tammy's injured, then you could easily go Kodja and Hogan up front, Balassi and El Ghazi on the wings. I mean, it's still pretty frightening, isn't it?
Mate, we're going out there to try and win games. It's not working at the moment for whatever reason. But
great quote today that he said that he's like, even when he was Brentford manager and they played Arsenal in the Cup, he's going to the Emirates wanting to win the game. That's his mindset.
I like that. At least it shows a bit of ambition and it shows a plan. It's a dead set plan, but
he isn't thereabouts, is he?
No, he certainly isn't. Declan O'Donoghue's asked about cutting our losses on Hogan at this stage. It's a big sigh.
Yeah, because he's one of those guys that you just really want. You still really want it to work for him.
People hammering him for Saturday. I don't get that because he's.
The keeper made a great save, and I think if he'd have scored that, he probably would have went on to score a couple in that game.
It's the fact he hasn't played, like I said earlier. He's never going to hit the ground running on Saturday. Never.
And he's never going to. Again, he's like a new signing because he was never going to really fit into Bruce's way of playing, Bruce's philosophy.
And he's shown under Smith he can score goals.
Completely, and. I don't know. I mean, it's a bit like McCormack. Like I always kind of just really wanted him to do well, and it just never. Oh no, God, never really happened for. It didn't happen for McCormack. But Hogan, I don't know. I don't know what he's on a week. He could. We may have to. We may have to if he's on a 45, 50 grand contract a week. Then we may have to.
But no one's going to take him on that. That's the point.
No.
If he goes anywhere, Villa are picking up a portion of that wages.
Of course,
I'd persevere with him because you need a squad. As we've seen with centre backs, you need a squad, and he'll be a good option. And you never know.
Think so.
Later on this season, it could turn.
Well, he
needs his luck to turn.
Yeah, he just needs a goal. I mean, the goal he scored against Bristol last New Year's Day, he ended up going on like 5-5 or something, wasn't it?
He's a good player.
So yeah, he's a good player.
Injuries are his biggest concern.
Yeah, again, another one, yeah.
We seem to say that quite a lot. It feels like Villa mad. I mean, we've already covered this, but I'm just wondering, I want to ask him on camera. He just wants to know your opinion on the goalkeeper. Kalinic doesn't really care. Obviously doesn't care about my opinion. I'm sure he's asked for Tom's opinion on something before. Check in with Villa mad, say why he doesn't want to know my opinion.
Maybe
it's because I say too much already.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been one game.
It's early days,
and what I would say is he just didn't cover himself in any kind of glory, but it's his first game, so
yeah. I'm all over the place with my notes.
It's my soundbite.
I'm on the wrong bit of paper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to pronounce his second name right, but I'm going to have a big pop at it. Raj Raithana. He says, do we still think that we can make playoffs?
Well, completely, yeah.
You don't write it off at this stage, do you?
No, there's 60 points to play for. 60 points.
Is that much?
Yeah.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. Now, if we win our next 20 games, then we'll be on 107 points. So lots of football. And it's, again, we have been through the tricky patch where we should have pretty much come out of it undefeated, and we almost did. But the teams above us are going to start playing each other. And if you look at who we've got to come, who's got to come to Villa Park? Derby have got to come to Villa Park. Norwich have got to come to Villa Park. Sheffield United have got to come to Villa Park. West Brom have got to come to Villa Park. So it's all to play. I mean, it can change within like that.
I mean, it does when you win a couple of games in the Championship. It's nuts.
We win Saturday, Derby lose Saturday. It's down.
That's an interesting stomach noise.
It's down to what? 2 points, so it's a long way to go. I even think if we can get a run the goal, we can still sneak in the top two. But
big shout. I mean, we need to get ourselves right. That's for sure. We need to get ourselves
balanced.
We'll go on a run. I'm going to put my neck on
at some point.
I think we'll go on a run. J Dav.
Got a bet on it?
No, you stop. Gamble responsibly.
You started it.
J Dav wants to know our favourite loan. So I've spelled loan terribly there. Favourite loan signing. He's gone for Robbie Keane. Brought a bit of class to Villa.
He did.
It's got to be Snodder.
Yeah,
got to be.
I mean, he was phenomenal. But Keane's goal against Wolves,
good too, didn't he that day?
But the first one was it the rocket.
You're going Keane because he's Irish as well.
But Snodgrass is Scottish. He's another kind of Celtic brother. But both. I mean, Snodgrass was just a proper bloke, wasn't he? And
I still love him now. I love watching him do well at West Ham.
Yeah, because he's just thrown it back in the face of that club who give him so much abuse. And even the fans were giving him abuse at the start of the season. Oh, what's he doing?
To be fair, I've seen a lot of West Ham fans eating humble
They've all come on. I mean, I watched a bit of that West Ham TV stuff occasionally, and they were like, hammer of the year, Snodgrass.
He's flying.
Fair play. That's pure hard work, pure dedication, and a mindset, and a will, and a steel to
I'm going to prove you wrong.
Of course, and that's what's missing in a lot of modern.
What a man!
But that's what's missing with a lot of modern footballers. That's what's missing. Hard work. And I think, again, I'm going to soundbite Smith's interview today, which, if you haven't watched it, you should, because I thought it was really good.
I haven't watched it yet.
He said that he showed the players on Monday, the sort of debrief, he showed the players clips from the City-Liverpool game last week. And the one thing he said to the players is, you look at Aguero, you look at Sané, you look at all those top players.
Let me tell you, Bernardo Silva in that game,
phenomenal.
Never, ever stopped running.
Yeah, but he said, and
he's such a good player as well.
He said, you look at that game, what are those players doing? First and foremost, they're working their socks off.
They wanted to win that game.
In the intensity and the effort and the hard work that you put in, you don't get anything in life without putting in hard work in any sort of walk of life. And that's what was missing on Saturday. There wasn't that effort or that commitment. I felt it was all very, it was the meander in the pitch. It was all very, very flat. So you have to play every game you go into like it's your last. You have to, and that's. I mean, you look at Pep and the way he plays. It's pretty intense, and Klopp.
Yeah,
it's like rock and roll football. Like, it's pretty punk rock,
high tempo stuff.
But
that's what Smith's trying to implement.
It is,
but it doesn't just happen. You don't go from
overnight. You look at Klopp.
Slow Bruce football to Klopp.
It took Pep a season, didn't it? He didn't win anything in his first season. He struggled. And
let's just say struggling is finishing third or fourth in the Premier League.
Well, yeah, there is
those struggles.
But it takes time. It takes time.
Final one, Jack Luckhurst again. He has informed me, because I didn't know last week, that the ref for QPR was James Linnington. So obviously I laid into the referee of the QPR game a little bit. And apparently he was the referee that I laid into over a year ago when we drew 0-0 with Middlesbrough at home, and he sent Henry Lansbury off. So that ref's got previous.
Lansbury?
Yeah, he went in for like a cynical challenge, and he sent him off a diamond trial, or had been sent off at the start.
Did Lansbury get sent off in that game? He didn't?
Yeah, he did. 10 men, 0-0 with Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
No, not in the playoffs.
No, that's because didn't Hurahan have a shot blocked on the line by Hogan?
Yeah, the same game.
Did Lansbury get sent off that game?
Yeah, Lansbury got sent off.
I knew Troy got sent off.
Me and Jack Luckhurst know, mate.
Shamrock Jack.
Yeah, he knows. Again, we'd love to do 3 in the booth, but the facts are it just isn't.
We'll get there. The more people watch, the more likes we get.
Yeah, it's not
the more chance we'll get to move into a bigger space.
A few people have said as well, can't you just get a new booth? Well, we don't really make any money. Well, we don't make any money. So we're lucky that we get to use this.
And this is
for free, and
top,
it's ideal, really. And
we're
very fortunate. We'd love to be able to go and hire a booth.
It's great. So next door for those who obviously don't know where we are.
Don't give too much away, Donna.
But it's great. It's all like you can hear all the different sort of commentators commentating on like all Spanish football and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't got the Spanish football this season, but yeah.
Well, I know, in general, it's brilliant.
Should we call it a day? I mean, I think we might have been last week.
I'll sit here and talk all night.
I'm quite tired. I've been. You got to remember, this is my place of work. I've been here for over 12 hours now.
It's true.
And I've got to say, I'm not feeling the best because I've been ill, and then I went to a gym class before we did the podcast. I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty broken.
Okay, yeah, we'll end it here.
But yeah,
on 1 hour, 13 minutes.
That's a pretty good stint, isn't it?
Impressive.
So thanks, Ever. I'm not going to make you do the outro like I do, Tom. Thanks ever so much for watching or listening to this podcast. We really, really appreciate it. If you haven't checked out the recent Villa View offerings, then make sure you go back and watch them. I thought our review of 2018.
It's good.
I thought Rollo did a good job on that.
I didn't get enough mention, but
no.
Apart from that, I was alright.
I'm surprised you watched it, knowing that you wouldn't be in it that much then, Dolan. But yeah, Rollo put a lot of work into that, and to be fair, so did I for 15 minutes when I was hungover. Villa Park.
You were steaming on New Year's Eve, weren't you?
Oh yeah, big time boy.
Steamboats.
Big time boy. New start in the new year. So yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for all the support you give us. We have so many nice comments. We're saying all the stuff about Twitter being a toxic place. The amount of nice things that get said about us are unbelievable, and we do read everything, and we do really, really appreciate it. We even read your monologues every week, Cyberdon Blue. I not always reply, but I always look out for it and look forward to him writing, and I always read and give it a like.
And all the Shamrocks as well in the comments.
Please keep up the comments, because although we don't always reply, we do read them all, and we really, really appreciate all the support. Rollo and myself will be doing a match preview in the coming days for the Wigan game. We haven't really looked at that in this podcast, but we'll be coming back to do match previews in the next few days. Dolan's off home on the tube now, or the overground. I'm going to take the short trip.
Finish off this London
back to mind. Yeah, not sure who's going to be in the booth next week, but obviously safe to say there'll be 2 of us at some stage. Thanks again for all your support. Up the Villa.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.